Chinatown and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Charles Glidden.
Well, coming up next on Talk Today, we have an open line. You can give me a call to let us know your thoughts about current issues or maybe just a good, encouraging thought for the day. We need those every now and then, if not every day. What do you think about the information coming from the recent police news conference? Talk Today is next. Stay with me.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Talk Today. I'm your guest host, Charles Glidden. Oh boy, it's a kind of hot one out there today. I guess every day this week's been like that. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope your day is going well. No guest in the studio. No, I'm the only guest, the guest host. But I'm going to invite you to be my guest. Give me a call. We can talk about whatever's on your mind. Let me give you the numbers here in case you don't have them. You can call on 1-800-534-8255. That's compliments of flow, won't cost you anything. 949-6990. Or if you'd like the WhatsApp number is 925-3261. You can leave us a message, or you can actually call and talk to us. Well, the police and crime has been in the news a lot lately. Police Commissioner Kurt Walton and some senior officers just had a press conference 1 week ago, and some interesting facts coming out of that presser. I guess the headline could be crime up, police short-staffed, and more police leaving than recruited. So that's sort of it in a nutshell there. There was also an update on the Judy Ann Miles case. The police are still waiting for forensic reports to get back to them, and that's going to be very crucial in this case, it looks like. They no longer have any persons of interest, was the word at the news conference. They did have some people that they interviewed, but they checked them out, and they no longer have any people of interest as of last week. But what they do have an interest in is a car. The police are looking for a white sedan type car with a with a black or dark colored hood or bonnet, whichever term you would like to call it. Now that's not a standard color, so the color scheme, a black hood, white body. You don't see them around too much. So there are people out there who have seen this car, know about this car. And if you have information about a white car with a black or dark colored hood on it, then please give the police a call. They're very interested in finding out more about this car. And a note here, as far as the phone calls are concerned, we're not going to get into a discussion of this case. It's an ongoing investigation. Let the police do what they have to do. So we don't want any theories or opinions to get going here. This might jeopardize the case down the line, because hopefully this case will end up in court with the people who've done this horrific crime facing justice, and we don't want to jeopardize any proceedings in court, such as tainting a jury or anything like that. So if you know something, say something to the police. They're looking for information, and there are people out there that know something, especially that car that they're looking for. And that press conference, they gave out crime stats, and those crime stats were revealed were for 2024, and overall crime in 2024 increased 7% over 2023. Well, that's not what we want to hear, but that's the reality of things. 7% up over 2023. Here's a breakdown of that increase in crime, the, I guess, most alarming one, and the highest increase is serious violence, including murder, attempted murder. 62% increase. There were 68 cases. They had a 38% detection rate. That means that they charge somebody, caution somebody. I guess next in line was drug crime with a 26% increase, 76% detection. And firearms possession and sexual offenses were next in line as far as increases, 21% each there for firearms possession and sexual offenses. Other stats, burglary, robbery, theft, up 4%. Public order offenses up 6%. Violence against the person, 3%. So that all comes down, when you do the math on that, overall is a 7% increase over 2023. Again, these stats are for 2024. A positive statistic is that the police detection rate, and as I mentioned, that means the police caution, charged, or summons was issued to appear in court. The detection rate is 43%. Now, according to Detective Superintendent Peter Lansdowne, he's a 40-year veteran of London's Met Police. That 43 detection rate is outstanding. Excuse me. And even better than the Met Police detection rate, which he says has a detection rate of 5%. Gibraltar, another British overseas territory, small jurisdiction also, I guess, 26% detection rate. I don't know if size has anything to do with all that, but that is a positive note there coming out of that news conference. And Commissioner Walton, he's aiming for a 60% detection rate. So he's setting the bar really high there. And the police commissioner says the service needs more staff. He needs another 75 officers to be at the staffing levels that he needs for the Cayman community to make this fully secure, a fully secure place, and to be able to rotate people in shifts and so forth. He believes that to properly police the Cayman Islands and give the RCIPS the opportunity to make the country they have, to make the country safe, they have to, increase it to that level. We're coming up on our usual break time here, so let's pause, and when we come back, we can take some calls from you and continue our discussion here. We'll be right back.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just the delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today, and it's an open line show, and we have someone on the line. So let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. How are you doing? Hello?
And can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Hello. How are you doing? Thanks for calling.
Pretty good. Out here is very hot.
Oh, yeah. It's a scorcher.
Yeah, we already got the summer rolling in. I got so much to talk about, Mr. Glidden. I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to finish it off for the rest of this year, but let me start somewhere, okay?
Let's get started.
Yes. I want to talk about yesterday. I was coming around the airport, then facing the back wall of the airport. You know, with what the ground there called Smith Road Oval.
Yeah.
I was actually behind that wall now, driving, going to proceed towards my job, which is by Hughes. So a plane was coming in, and I didn't pay the plane no mind because, you know, planes always cross, you know, your car when you cross in the airport area.
Right.
So when the plane came over my car started rattling and making all kind of noise, and I'm like, I couldn't all I could do was just keep on driving. I didn't know what to do. Honestly,
Yeah.
my goodness, I didn't know what to do.
You wanted to get out of there.
And I'm like, what the heck is going down? So I keep hearing this noise when I continue driving. And I have this black, I would call it, it's a black strip in my upper roof.
Uh-huh.
When I looked, that was hanging on the side of my car. And I'm like, what is this? So then it had one little piece holding up. When I got to Jose's, I stopped and looked at it. And I put my emergency lights on to try to get to that area so I could stop, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, was one little piece holding up the upper front of the windscreen. And this whole piece is hanging down on the ground and dragging, whatever. And I'm like, I don't believe this.
So what do you think happened?
That's what I want to know. The plane was, I don't know what plane it was. I think it was just minutes to 2 o'clock or just a few minutes after 2 o'clock, and I was heading to
Is it a private plane or a commercial airline?
It was a big plane, and I could hear it was a big plane.
Uh-huh.
And it felt very, very low too on the car when I felt all these things happening to me in my car.
Yeah.
And I'm driving a little Toyota Epsom, so I don't know what happened yesterday, but I don't know.
Oh, you say your car was shaking?
My car was shaking. My roof, my upper roof was rattling and making all kind of noise. And
the plane is passing over you as this is happening.
And the plane is passing over me while this is happening. And I'm like, and then when I got a distance from the airport and the plane already going out to go and drop down on the strip, and so forth. I didn't know. I was so scared. I did a little glance to my front window, and there was this piece of rubber toting on the side of my car, being held in. When I stopped to Jose's, I put my emergencies on, and I drove to Jose's, and I got out. And I'm like, what's this? And one little piece was stuck into the windscreen area. That's what finished held it up.
Well, it's just been suggested to me that you got caught in what they call the vortex of the aircraft, the air that's being disturbed as the aircraft flies. But I don't know. I mean, that's not supposed to happen like that.
I have never experienced.
Maybe the aircraft is too low. I don't know.
I would say it was pretty low, and I could really hear it.
Did you talk to the airport authority?
I didn't talk to nobody. You're the first person I'm actually talking to. I was going to talk to OC this morning, but he had guests on air.
Uh-huh. But
let me tell you something.
But maybe you should give the airport authority a call.
Let me tell you something. It was a hell of an experience yesterday crossing that airport.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stuck the piece of rubber in as much as I could. And then when I finished my school route, then I went home and I went to Napa up by countryside. And the little guy came and looked at it for me and really helped me and glued it down and yakety-yak. But my car top was rattling. My car was rattling.
I would suggest you give the airport authority a call.
What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do about this?
Well, they know if you know the time. If you have a time, they know what plane landed, and I'm sure that's not supposed to happen to to a car that is passing at the same time as a plane is over that road.
When I got on that back of that wall, the plane just came right over my car top, and I cannot tell you what plane it was. But it sounded like a big plane. You can tell the difference between a big plane and a small plane.
I would suggest you give the airport authority a call, though. And you know what time it was, right?
It was somewhere between 2 o'clock or just a few minutes after 2 o'clock.
Well, they would know what plane landed at that time.
What plane that was landed. And after everything happened, I said, my God, I didn't even look to see what plane came down after I got up the Jose. I would see the plane. But just the reaction of my car was going on with, and this piece of rubber hanging down on the side of my car.
Yeah, well, you had to be shaken up over that. I mean, You're supposed to be able to drive there safely without that sort of thing happening.
Well, I tell you one thing. If I ever cross that way again, a plane coming, I'm stopping, and the car behind me, that they probably think I had to wait till that plane cross over me. But I'm not taking that experience again. It was crazy.
Give the airport authority a call, though. I mean, it may be something that they would be interested in to know that happened.
Well, if anybody listening, they're going to hear it now, but I will not be calling them. I just thank God that I'm okay. And always the first time for something, apparently.
Well, I'm glad to know that you're okay.
Yes, I am.
And you got your car fixed, you said? You got the piece back on?
I went there by Napa. One of Napa little workers was very helpful, and they got some glue and glued the strap, the piece of rubber back down on top of the roof of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my!
All right. Well, glad to know you're okay and you got the piece fixed back on your car.
Yes. I got 2 more minutes.
Yeah, you can go on.
Okay.
I don't think we have anyone on the line right now, do we? Go ahead.
I want to talk a little bit about this cruise berthing and the way things are right now here in this Cayman Island.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're talking about building a pier. Now, I asked somebody who was your OC if they're going to have shops on the pier, are they going to have this, are they going to have that? Now, I want to know if and when they built, are they going to have something for them, a cover for our visitors to stand on? They hear crying that our visitors are sitting out in the sun for too long to go back on to the cruise ship, But I say that to say this. I saw a visitor came off the cruise ship yesterday. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think for 1 second that gentleman had an affair with that tender in his condition to come on my island and scoot around in his little scooter. And, he was on land.
Yeah. Moving
around. And I will not go into no details of what I see of the individual. And you can use your own mind, and But I want to say that at the Royal Pier, I haven't worked Royal Pier, and when I say work down there, to go down there to call to end the customers. Sometimes I'm called from the dispatch or from North Terminal to go there and pick up and go about my business. But to go on the pier and work with the other taxi drivers, I haven't done it in a long time. So yesterday, I had the opportunity to go there and work with them at the Royal.
Okay.
And Mr. Glidden, let me tell you something. That Royal Pier needs some serious cleaning up, because we got taxi drivers who go to the dispatch practically every morning of the week, 5:30, to pull a number at 6:50, coming from all the way east end, north side, west way into Georgetown to go to the dispatch. And depending on what number they get, that'll make them determine what time they can go down and form a line. You understand?
Okay, yeah.
And then now we got people who's working at the pier that do not have to go through those hoops and loops to get down there to get their customers. They just goes in there and do their own thing. And there's no restriction for these individuals down there. And what they're doing is walking and stopping over the taxi drivers who is coming there to make an honest dollar from what is left that is not pre-booked on the cruise ship. You follow me?
Now, these people that you're talking about, they're drivers also?
They got business on the port. They got some business on the port.
Uh-huh.
And I understand they do some pre-book and some no pre-book. But what they're doing is calling the people and selling the beach right there at their booth, and then take them to where they got to go. Now, a lot of you have said there's nothing wrong with that. The Glidden is not what you do, it's how you do it.
Okay.
You understand? So what I'm trying to get across here is that if you know that you got your people pre-booked on the cruise ship, so many, and you got your people and it's gone, and You know people are still coming off. You got people there from the taxi dispatch was up there from 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning to come down, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in line to get their customers, whatever. We got a gentleman there. I watched him yesterday. He looked to me as if he was a wind-up jack. He was jumping from step to step. And as soon as anybody come off the boat, he is there up in their face with these 4 signs trying to sell whatever he's going to sell.
He's hustling them into his ride.
Into his little business that he will put into a bus sooner or later. I am not saying there's nothing wrong with it, sir, but it is how you do it and how far you can make certain people go when everybody's out there trying to work and be human. Don't have no arguments in front of the visitors. I just said about an incident yesterday. There were some people came off. Some taxi driver was talking to the people. He butts in. And then they start on a war. You know what the people did? They just walk away.
Of course, they don't want to get involved in that.
They don't want to get involved in that foolishness. And let me tell you something. And I just hope that Port Authority is listening to me this afternoon because I don't care.
But do they have someone there? Do they have someone on the scene that
Glidden,
is supervising these things?
They are there, and I hope they're listening. They supervise who they want to supervise. They send home who they want to send home to the most frivolous as a taxi driver. They're coming in there from the port, from the dispatch.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm trying to say is these 2 individuals down there, they are running the show. They can do as they please, and they don't give. And the supervisor, whoever they may be down there, don't care if a taxi driver ever get anything.
So let me see if I understand this now. So you got these people that you're talking about. They have pre-booked, so they don't have to go through the lottery system. They can just go straight onto the dock because they have pre-booked. But then they're hustling people who aren't booked with them and cutting into the taxis who've been there from 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, go to the dispatch at 5:30. Where they're coming from, and the pull number at 6:15, and sometimes they're being sent down to the port by 7 o'clock.
So they're kind of jumping in line in front of the taxis.
Thank you.
And taking those people.
Thank you.
Okay.
And no one is doing anything or saying anything in regards. And then when the taxi drivers on to get hot and want to act fool or whatever they want to call it, then they want to suspend them. They want to throw them out the gate and keep the one that is there pulling up their buses to go where they got to go. This thing is not being shared properly. It's not organized properly. And before people get up here talking about building a pier, they need to get the business in order before they talk about going to build a pier. Who they building a pier for? We need some structure with whoever's at the pier with their own little booths. Nobody said they can't have it, But you should know how far you can go from how far you can't go, knowing that you got these individuals coming from this compound every morning, and you're looking at shifts and 30 or 40 taxi drivers, probably more, I don't know. They're coming to this port every day to work. Even when there's one cruise ship, the majority still come out and no guarantee they're going to make $1, but it's their job, so they're going to give it a try. Because the first thing you don't come out, the first thing they say, oh, you got taxi drivers and you don't even see them out here when there's one ship out there, so they're coming out one ship. If it's one ship, they come in. If it's 2 ships, they come in. 5 ships, they come in. We are not being treated properly. We say that we are ambassadors for this island, but we are licensed beggars. You go pay $400 a month for a 1-car taxi. I can imagine who has 2. What they got to pay every year? You got to pay $400 a year for your car, and you can't even make that back before the season ends of that year or when the season begins again in November, whatever the case may be. I want to tell Cayman, you may see a lot of buses on the waterfront, and you may see a lot of buses running, a lot of taxis running Cayman, but you must not say, yeah, they made plenty of money today. You can go home now and blah, 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 blah. No. I can tell you, a lot of them buses go out there, Mr. Glidden, and don't make $1. And as small as I am, I don't make $1. But you know what I say? Tomorrow's another day. And thank God I have a regular job. And those that don't have a regular job that's in the taxi business, I'm going to tell you right now, I feel for them. So who's going to clean up this taxi business on this island? They need to get rolling.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to stick a pin there. Thank you so much for the call. Maybe we can get some kind of response from the Port Authority people about what's going on there.
Nice. That'd be nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for the call.
Bye-bye.
I have to take a break. We'll be right back.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Protect your computers and mobile devices with security software to defend against cyber attacks through viruses, malware, and other online threats. Be aware of unsecure Wi-Fi connections when in public. If you need to access your online banking or sensitive information on your mobile devices, try disabling the Wi-Fi and switching to data from your mobile network. If you suspect a fraud attempt, please contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Subway and Oreo has changed the dessert game. Introducing the Oreo footlong cookie, a full 12 inches of chocolatey, creamy goodness. It's big, it's bold, and it's here for a limited time. Perfect for sharing or not. We won't judge. Want it fast? Order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app for quick pickup and earn loyalty points. Or get it delivered straight to your door with Bento and Let's Eat. Don't wait. Treat yourself today. The Oreo footlong cookie is calling your name. Subway. Eat fresh. Snack sweet.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
Attention Boddentown residents. The Department of Environmental Health Boddentown Bulk Waste Collection will take place between May 19th to 24th. This bulk waste collection will replace the traditional year-end collection. Household appliances, furniture, and other items too large to be handled by the weekly DEH collection crews should be placed by the roadside where it's easily accessible to the DEH's collection crews. Metals and vegetation should also be separated from other bulk items. Do not obstruct the roadway or storm drains or place tires, construction and demolition waste, hazardous materials, or electronics. For more information on the Boddentown Bulk Waste Collection from May 19th to 24th, please contact the DEH's Solid Waste Management Section at 949-6696.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. Let's go straight to the phone lines. We have a caller that's been patiently waiting there. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Charles. Hello. Glidden, Mario Banks here. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How about yourself? Good to hear from you.
Same. Good to hear from you too. I have been patiently waiting because I've been eager to talk to you after so many years of you missing radio. But it's good to have you back, and that
thank you.
That soothing voice, but that brilliant mind at work. So that's great to have you back there. I don't know if it's full time or part time, but I hope you've been there.
Well, I'm designated the guest host. So.
A guest host, I see. Okay. That's what I want to call about today is, first of all, just say to all the listeners, good afternoon. It is beautiful, blue skies, warm Cayman Islands. But no better place to be on God's earth than here.
Oh, I tell you.
Yeah. In regard to immigration, there was a lot of discussion about immigration in the short election campaign that recently concluded, and also before the campaign started, or before the House was prorogued, there was a white paper on immigration put out by the previous government, the caretaker government, and now you see now that the UK has also put out a white paper on immigration. Other countries are doing the same thing, and so definitely immigration is a serious topic that we need to get on with. And I'm hoping that the new government, when they get settled in, that immigration reform and human capital development planning would be a priority.
Well, they say that's up at the top of the list. So.
Yes, I see that. So I hopefully that you'll convert those plans into action and get good people involved to make this thing happen. Because it's been talked about for about 25 or 30 years now. After every election, that's a plan, but then it doesn't really get dealt with until the 11th hour before the next election. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is whether you have an opportunity, anytime you have His Excellency the Governor or any other guests on there who might be able to opine on it, is that the issue of people who are leaving private sector employers and going into government, going into the civil service, and many of them are doing so to be able to avoid the 9-year rollover.
I've heard about that.
So I wonder if you could ask about what's happening with that, because I think that was also put into the white paper, I believe. But I'm not sure if it was, because I was made to understand that when it was first brought up as a suggestion, that the governor, I'm not sure if it was this governor or the previous one, said that it couldn't be done. They could not have that change where the non-Caymanians in the public sector were also subject to the rollover, i.e. they had to either apply for permanent residency or they had to leave the island and take a year break. And that's, as you know, that's one of the loopholes in the system where people can go in there and they can avoid the rollover, and then by virtue of the fraction of time, they can qualify for those rights of being here long term. So if you get a chance, if you could just check into the status of that.
Well, if I get the opportunity, I will.
Yeah. It is a very critical matter, and it's very much part of the whole reform that we need. Not just that, but the point system for PR and the whole thing, really.
But it was well talked about during the campaign, and I'm sure, if I'm correct here, that members of this present government have said that the rule should apply regardless of whether you're working for the government or in the private sector. So somebody must be thinking about this whole thing just the same way that you are, that it should be an even playing field.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make too is that there's somebody who is blocking it.
Yeah.
Let's determine who that is and if something can be done about that, because it seems to be a no-brainer, a simple thing, but for some reason it's not being done. So let's see where the blockage is and see if we can clear that blockage. Thank you.
All right, Mario, thank you so much for calling. Good to hear from you.
All the best. Yeah, same. Take care. Okay, bye.
Well, that's a point that was brought up quite often during the campaign, and as he was saying, it seems to be when you stop and think about it, that regardless of where you're working, the same rule would apply. Now, also civil servants or non-Caymanians working for the government don't need a work permit. They don't have to go through all those same procedures that someone who's working in the private sector does. Should that be the same also? Well, that's a question. Everybody having to do the same thing, rather than some people being privileged just because they're in going into the civil service, that they can get around the whole work permit process and the rollover process. We're coming up on 1 o'clock, so we have to pause here and check in with the newsroom.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. The Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing will hold its annual Customer Appreciation Day on Wednesday, the 28th of May, at all locations. The event will run from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Crew Road office and from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Breakers in West Bay. Customer service representatives and staff will engage with visitors throughout the day. DVDL will also use the event to promote its service options, including online services, customer support, driver's license renewals by mail, and online forms. Customers conducting transactions will receive special giveaways and refreshments. In regional news, Jamaican authorities are investigating the tragic death of a 4-year-old girl, Gia Grinnell, who sustained a fatal gunshot wound at a residence in Mandeville on Tuesday night. According to police reports, Gia, her 12-year-old sibling, and her mother were at home when the incident occurred. The mother told investigators that she had put both children to bed before going into the restroom, at which point she heard a loud explosion. Her licensed firearm had reportedly been left in her handbag. Gia suffered a gunshot wound to the head and was rushed to the hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. Police have since seized the weapon as a part of their investigation. Authorities continue to probe the circumstances surrounding the incident. In other regional news, a Bahamas court has sentenced a 37-year-old man to 10 years in jail after he pled guilty to repeatedly raping his preteen stepdaughter, resulting in her getting pregnant. The man, who's been in prison since his arrest in June 2024, pled guilty to unlawful sexual intercourse with a dependent when he appeared before Senior Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson. The court was told that the man began molesting the 12-year-old child in August 2023 and frightened her into silence by telling her that he would kill her if she told anyone what he did. As a part of the plea agreement, the man received a concurrent sentence of 8 years for garroting and will receive credit for the 11 months spent on remand. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter. Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
In the spring and summer of 1978, U.S.-based regional air carrier Red Carpet Airlines was operating non-stop service twice a week between Cayman Brac and the St. Petersburg Clearwater International Airport in Florida, as well as inter-island flights non-stop between Cayman Brac and Grand Cayman, 5 days a week, with both services being flown with twin-engine Convair 440 prop aircraft. By the summer of 1980, Red Carpet was operating direct one-stop service twice a week between Cayman Brac and Tampa International Airport via a stop at Grand Cayman. By the spring of 1982, Red Carpet's successor AeroSun International was continuing to operate Convair 440 service between Cayman Brac and Tampa and Grand Cayman.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today, and it's open line day here on Talk Today. You can give us a call on 1-800-534-8255. Compliments of Flow. Won't cost you anything on that one. 949-6990 is another number you can give a ring, and WhatsApp number is 925-3261. Give us a call and tell us what's going on with you. What are your thoughts on issues happening around Cayman? A previous caller brought up immigration. That's always a topic for discussion, and it seems like we're going to be getting some changes from what the new government is saying, and I think they're talking about seeing some movement on immigration within the first 100 days of their administration. We do have a caller on the line, a WhatsApp caller at that, so let's check in with that. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden. How you doing?
All right, and you?
Not bad, not bad. Calling from the Brock.
All right.
Yeah, James Christian. About the immigration policy and everything else that they're working on. I really hope that they come to agreement with trying to get some change with that and not have it swept under the table anymore any longer, because we have put up with that long enough. Few things I would like to topic on quickly. That and hopefully they come to a solution with the project of the school here on the Brock. The cost of what this elaborate building of something that is not going to benefit, or I wouldn't say not going to benefit, but who will it benefit on the island when Grand Cayman has a superior amount of children and buildings there are costing less than what ours is costing, almost triple the amount. These things I hope the new government get in place and get corrected. We have no time to play games anymore. We need to get this country straightened back up. We need to get things sorted with that. We can have our people financially stable and medical-wise and financial-wise, if their monthly fees and pension and everything else that they're lacking with. And I want to just mention one thing, Mr. Glidden. We had lost a tremendous amount of people here in the Brac lately. But one individual that we lost recently was our former district commissioner. And I'm quite sure you're aware of that, because
I am. Yeah.
think I heard you. Yeah, I think I heard you talking about it on your show.
Yeah, I did.
Even, sorry?
I did talk about him. Yeah.
Yeah, even with OC, I think he had the governor on there. They were giving their best regards, and they were talking about it as well. But what shocks me so much is to know that such a brilliant man fall, and we here on this island, knowing that he even worked under the district administration as the district commissioner, but yet one flag has never been flyed half-mast in respect to that man. To me, that's an insult. To me, it's an embarrassment. To me, it's a downgrade to our people, to know that we have people that put themselves out there for the community and for the people of this island. I don't know about Grand Cayman, what they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the criteria is for that. I know I think the cabinet has to order it or something.
That's the thing. It has to fall from cabinet and everything else with this, with the position that I understand that, but knowing the fact of a position such as a district commissioner, so the people are telling me if the district governor was to pass, or the acting governor was to pass, they would fly half-mast for him, or they wouldn't fly half-mast for him. I mean,
I can't answer that, but I get your point.
Yeah, I mean, when you stop and think about it, where's the respect for our people? Where's the respect? Because, I mean, you can't get a higher position in these islands as a district commissioner. That's the highest position you can receive. And in Grand Cayman, the highest, then you go from acting governor to the governor.
Yeah. Or the
DC. Or the DC. I mean,
I think he would come under the deputy governor, though, right?
That's right.
The district commissioner is under the deputy governor.
That's what I'm saying. Or the DC, the deputy governor. And I to me, it just doesn't make sense who I see them fly half-mast for when they pass, but our very own, they don't recognize and do these things and make a change. Because the government can make a change in these rulings and have the respect to know that such a person as this fall, and we're just saying, okay, there's a funeral Saturday and that's it, bam, that's it. Where's the respect? Where is the respect? That's what I'm trying to get across. Where is the respect? I
think the cabinet can declare that for anyone that they collectively believe deserves it. You know, I mean, I don't think you need anything legislation or anything like that.
And it's sad to know that you gotta have a declaration under the cabinet to say this individual deserve half-mast fly for him because of his death. To me, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I mean, where do we draw the line? We have foreign people coming here and take position in government, and when they pass and they're across, like what we say, they're across the pond, and we fly half-mast for them.
Be like former
and
governors.
They're not even here and they're not even here on the island anymore, but yet we still recognize them and respect them and fly half-mast for them. But our own people that are here and dying, that are high up in these high positions in government, we don't recognize them.
So what do you think, that once you reach a certain rank, that it should be automatic?
It should be automatic because, like I said, that is the highest rank that you can get in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. That is the highest rank.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the highest rank for Grand Cayman because Grand Cayman holds all the highest chiefs and deputy chiefs and DCs and acting and everything else. But when these two islands, we have only one opportunity for our people that hold that position That is the highest position that anyone can ever hold on this island, is a district commissioner. And to me, so they got to tell me that when the district commissioner, they got to tell me that when the commissioner of police eventually pass, then they're not going to fly half-mast for him?
I don't know.
I mean, I come on, I'm trying to wrap my head around this thing, because this is not making sense. It to me, like I said, Mr. Glidden, it doesn't show no respect.
I see
no
your
respect.
point.
And it coming, and if the government has to okay these things, we have government officials in there in our parliament that are from Cayman Brac, and you got to tell me they can't stand and say, listen, let's make a change. We have someone that was in a high position in the Brac that passed. Can we have a half-mast flight for that man for the time being before his funeral? I mean, there's no humanity of thought throughout these 3 islands for our people. I mean, I just came out of running for as a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And I quite sure you must have had watched me during my Chamber of Commerce meeting. You mightn't be familiar who I am, but if you go back and look at Cayman Brac East, you'll see who I am.
Now that you say that, I can pretty much figure out.
Yeah, thank you. But these things, I take seriously these things, and I don't take them for granted, because we have to show our people respect.
Yes, well,
we have these kind of things. It doesn't have to go to caucus. It doesn't have to go to cabinet.
And sometimes that showing each other as Caymanians respect sometimes it becomes as simple as saying Mr. or Miss, to someone, rather than just treating him as your buddy, your drinking buddy or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they look after it. And I don't mean to take up your time, but when we seriously stop and think about it, how much of our Caymanian citizens are seniors that are going to pass and not going to be recognized? This is where we fall.
Yeah.
But yet we recognize every corner of this earth, the people that come here, we recognize them. I don't want to sound like I repeat myself, but this is a disgrace. And I think it should have been something that would have been done. And it hurts me to know. I mean, me and him was close. Me and him was good friends. And it hurt me to see that they don't even pay the respect. Well, don't even pay the respect. If it was left to me, I would have had those flags flying Cayman Brac half-mast. Whether the governor liked it or whether the DC liked it, it didn't matter. I would have had those flags flying half-mast in regards to that man because of his position he held for so much years. And it's a disgrace.
Well, I know he was well respected and well loved in Cayman Brac. But I know he was well respected and well loved in Cayman Brac.
Yeah, and that's about it. The people gonna cherish that. Yeah. But I mean,
I have to thank you for the call. We have someone else waiting. We have another caller waiting. But thank you so much for checking in with us and giving us your ideas.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, you too. We have another caller. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Charles.
How are you doing?
Doing good. Just listening to the program. And
what's on your mind?
I completely agree with the last caller just now, really, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
People that are recognized on the island for high positions and stuff. It should be that we should look at them just like how we look at the monarchy or something, like they are our own people and we should look at them with respect for sure and give them our best. But how we got to do that. If we don't do it, no one will do it, right?
Yeah. Well, we're kind of hesitant to put anybody up on a pedestal, even when they're alive. We have premiers, and a lot of time we see them, and it's not hello, Mr. Premier, or Mrs. Madam Premier, but they call them by their first name because we knew them back when. But you got to respect the office too.
Yes, that's true. One thing I had wanted to call about, because this morning I was I was listening to Mr. Orrich's show for the record, and it came to my mind when it come into like our traffic on our island, and especially here in Grand Cayman, as we know, we have so many people and so many thousands of cars, and
bad drivers.
Very bad. Trust me, even it makes the best drivers look worse. But we got a problem with traffic that I do not know if any of our MPs have been thinking about it and dialoguing with people about how we could solve this problem that we have relentless traffic. And one thing that I've noticed behind at the end of every traffic is a roundabout. And to be honest with you, I don't know how many people on this island actually know how to use a roundabout properly.
Yes.
You know, give a IQ test to half of the people that got a driver's license and check their response, and we could see how good they drive from that. Because if you take 30 seconds to figure out if you should go, and you have all the time in the world, I don't know, because I've seen it before. You have people that literally watch a car coming from about a mile away, just waiting for it to cross before it pulls out. And these are the type of people that will hold traffic up as well. So one thing I know that the roundabouts are supposed to be for is continuous traffic, like continuous movement. And it helps the people that are on the roundabout as well make a right direction to where they're turning. But if they're on the wrong lane, all that's going to be doing is just holding people up, you know.
And causing accidents.
Right.
I've seen people change lane in the roundabout. You know, just all of a sudden they're coming over, and it's and then they make a bad exit.
Yeah. And you know one other thing, right? Because when the roundabout supposed to be, for example, highway, because the roundabouts are on the highway, I still don't understand how is that beneficial to the movement of traffic. But we have West Bay Road, for example, right? West Bay Road, and then they have the highway. We have both. We have 2 lanes on each side on one, and then they have another one which is just 1 lane going up on each side. And we still don't know how to get it right. We still see the traffic every single day, even if they upgraded the roads to have bigger spaces like how they would love to do up in the eastern districts as well. But then you still have the people that are abusing and misusing the roundabouts on the highway. And it's ridiculous because really and truly they have the inner lane and then the outer lane, and then you see people using both lanes going right around the roundabout, you know. And all that is hindering the people that could be in a consistent path with the roundabout on the highway. You have people that come in from the regular road on West Bay Road, coming out from West Bay, from the fire station direction, right? And they're getting through quicker than the ones on the highway. Why is that? You got people using 2 lanes, entering the highway, the roundabout. It should just only be 1 lane, to be honest with you. It literally should be 1 lane, and then the left lane is for the nearest exit. Nobody's exiting on the left lane.
Yeah, because once you enter the roundabout, you can't go past. I think it was the second exit.
The second exit, right?
If you're on the outer lane, when you come to that second exit, you should exit. You shouldn't go past that.
Yeah. And there's people that are not using it the correct way.
And nobody uses the indicators. Nobody wants to tell you where they're going.
Right, and that's so important with a roundabout. Oh my goodness, you know, I gotta tell you, right? Since 2010, from I graduated from school, it's only ever since 2019 or 2020, I've noticed that the driving has become more ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, well, the police commissioner had a comment on that. That the driving culture is horrific.
It is, and the more people that we invite here on the island and accept them to get a driver's license on a temporary work permit, all it's doing is just congesting us. Because what is the biggest issue that I see It's not even the regular drivers. It's the ones that have the rental vehicles. I'm going to emphasize that because what I see is...
Are you talking about tourists?
Vehicles that disregard... No, come on now. Mr. Charles, we have the tourists, and then we have those locals that rent.
That they rent the car for a weekend or something like that?
They may rent the car for the rest of their lives on this island. And this is the problem now because they disregard every single rule that we have on this island. I can ask anybody about what their opinion is on this, and I can guarantee you it'll be the same thing. These rental car drivers, they disregard every single road code down to the traffic stop. They don't even stop on the four-way, some of them. You see what I mean?
That's downright dangerous, yeah.
And guess what the worst part about it? You might be one of those passengers of these drivers, and then when you tell them, yeah, all right, because you can just imagine the class of people that do these things, you know.
Yeah.
The class of people are the ones that believe that they can step on your toe and say, hush.
And some people that have come in here on work permits, I think it's the first time that they ever drove in a car.
I believe so too, sir. I believe it's the first time they've ever actually owned a car or even a driver's license, much less. And it's sick. And it's sick to me because knowing the risk that they have with these people on the road, with the pedestrians especially, because some of the pedestrians act the same exact way. And it's sad to see that they believe that they're the only ones and we are obligated to stop when they step out on the road. To be honest, if they don't show no signs of crossing, how can anybody... I said this a couple of days ago or a week ago about the people's responsibility on the road as pedestrians is to stay alive.
Yeah, if there's no crosswalk for them to step into, then they really have to wait until it's safe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And if you make yourself look like you want to cross the road, a lot of people will stop and let you go.
Right, I've seen it multiple times. You know, one thing that would be a great investment on this island, and I don't think it would cost our government too much on the budget that I've seen them come up with, is if they have these things where they're like in the New York City, where they have these little bridges that you can walk over.
Or the little overpass.
Something like that, yeah. I've even seen it in Los Angeles. It's brilliant. It's very nice when you have people that can actually utilize these things, and they're guided. They're guided to it. Make the roadway something that is inaccessible to pedestrians. I don't see anything wrong with that because these cars are relentless. They're not going to brake. They're not, unless the person has a good timing and they press the brakes in a hard enough time. You have half of these people that don't even know how to gauge speed. They don't even know how to gauge speed, sir. And here we are giving them the biggest responsibility of physics, controlling a 1,000-pound plus car and a vehicle moving at 40 miles an hour, and they must stop for a person that just blind to know that these vehicles are operated by human beings.
Just stepping out into the street and hoping the car is going to stop.
My goodness. I mean, there's no other way of me thinking about it than to have enforcement on the roads through our traffic officers. And I'm a person that like to advocate for police force. And I don't like the idea of police force unless we were living in a country that have a bunch of animals.
Remember, ours is called the police service. We call it police.
I know. We have a service, and the one service I would love to see the police do is guide the people in traffic. It would be very brilliant if the police could have a foresight and see where the problem is, because if a regular person...
Apparently one of the problems is we need more police from, what the commissioner is saying.
Well, sir, we only got 93 something, or probably a little bit less than 90 something usable square miles on this island to drive on, and I don't see the reason why we can't have a good. We have how much police officers on our island? Over 500, maybe. I don't know how much exact numbers. I don't want to call it.
He says he needs 75 more officers.
What? We need
do a full coverage.
We need more vigilance on the road, sir. We have a lot of people that are just like cutting. I even passed two people today on the middle lane in West Bay Road, just like hauling, just like going straight through, like as if it was just a regular street,
Mm-hmm.
And it's so dangerous to see these people. And what Where's our patrol officers? You're not asking them to pull nobody over and be present. So that's why they put lights on them so that you can
Police
be present
presence.
and stay in your place. Stay in your place. We're not telling nobody they can't and cannot do anything. They can't. What we trying to tell them is they must stay in line. Stay in line and act vigilant.
Well, listen, I have to take care of a little business here. So
Yes, sir.
thank you for your call. And drive safely. Everybody, drive safely and walk safely. Take care. Have a good afternoon. Do we need to take a break here, or do we want to take the call? Okay, I think we have a caller on the line, so just hang on there. We'll be right back with you.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a business that offers an authentic Caymanian product and service and shares the magic of these islands? With the Visitor Experience Development Grant, you could get up to $50,000 to bring your idea to life. From wellness to tech, cultural workshops to food experiences, the opportunity is yours. Applications open from April 15th to May 30th. Take the first step. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP today to find out more.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or belly fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line and a quick message on our WhatsApp. This was in regards to the caller talking about paying due respect. This person says, agree with the caller 1,000,000%, total disregard and disrespect. We have someone on the line, so Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. Glidden.
Yes. How you doing?
Okay, and you?
All right.
Okay.
What's on your mind today?
Well, in 2007, a prison inspector from England came to the Cayman Islands to inspect the prisons there.
Mm-hmm.
And they inspected the West Bay lockup prison. And the man said that no one should be locked in that prison because how it's situated, it could cause people to have suicidal thoughts. So they closed it down. And people are now going to Fairbanks. He also went to Northwood Prison. And this was in 2007.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember that.
And he said it was a disgrace to know that the finances that the Cayman Islands have, that they had prisoners staying in that type of prison here on the island. Right now, God forbid in Jesus' precious name, if a fire was to break out in Northwood Prison, the security guard has to open every cell with a key.
Individually?
Right now,
Individually?
Individually. And right now, in 2025, prisons are supposed to have a button that you press in case of emergency, that every cell opens, that if there is a fire, all prisoners can be released immediately. So if a fire was to break out in Northwood Prison and a security guard has to open each cell one by one, risking his life also doing so, something terrible could happen in Northwood Prison, God forbid if that happens. And when it comes to earthquakes, I personally experienced an earthquake in Northwood Prison when I was in there one time, remanded in Delta Wing. That's the remand center. And the earthquake happened in 2004. And that whole building was shaken to the point that everybody downstairs in Delta Wing thought that the maximum security cells upstairs were going to crush all those who were downstairs in Delta. And not only that building, but the other buildings such as Bravo Wing, A Wing, all those buildings are old and rotten because they were built in 1981. So the steel rods in those buildings are rusted to pieces. The government continues to hesitate in building new prisons for these inmates. These inmates are somebody's son, somebody's grandson, somebody's father, somebody's grandfather. And then you have to think about the staff that are working there also. They could also lose their lives at work in those types of situations. And remember this, nobody in Northwood Prison was sentenced to death. It's against the law in the Cayman Islands. So God forbid any tragedy happen in there, as I spoke about. And God forbid if we have a tsunami The foundations of those prisons are so low that everybody in Northwood Prison could be drowned in their cells.
Now, you know, there's people who say we shouldn't be spending money on improving prisons.
Yeah, you have people that saying that, but when something terrible happens, what I just mentioned to you, especially a fire, government has a lot of questions to answer. Let me tell you that, especially after being warned by a prison inspector from England.
Thank you
very much.
Do you know if anything was done in response to that about Northward? Because I remember what you're talking about, but I can't remember some of the results of it.
Well, I haven't heard of any new prisons being built. Have you?
No, but I mean, any improvements and anything change? Any of the conditions changed up in the Northward Prison as a result of that report?
Well, the only changes I know of, they have AC. But AC isn't going to save your life if a fire breaks out or if an earthquake happens or if a tsunami happens. The government got to stop being worthless and take care of these people's lives. Those people have one life to live. No matter what they did, none of them in Northwood Prison were sentenced to death. And the government are responsible for their lives. The government of the Cayman Islands are responsible for those prisoners' lives. What are they going to tell their parents if any tragedy happens, such as a fire inside Northwood Prison? What are they going to say to their parents? Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call. Something to think about. It is one thing to incarcerate people because they've broken the law. You know, they serve their time. But it has to be done in humane conditions. I'm not sure what the facts are there. He seems to have had some first-hand experience to know what he's talking about. Earlier in the show, we were talking about some of the facts coming out of the police press conference that they had. And the police commissioner is saying that, they're short-staffed. They're losing people because people leaving the service to go where they can get better pay, better hours. And he needs another 75 officers to properly police the Cayman Islands and give the RCIPS the best opportunity to make the country safe. And we were talking about traffic and how people drive and so forth. The traffic unit itself is short by 38% of the numbers that they require. So when we have a caller that, and since I've been here, I think they've called 2 or 3 times complaining about Conch Point Road, and they complain to the police and they don't see any police cars out there because people are speeding and dangerous driving. I guess it gets pretty tough for them to cover all these areas if they're 38% short of staff in the police unit. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. I wonder where I got a bad flu, but I guess I'll make it.
Okay.
I was listening to that guy talking about the prisoners.
Uh-huh.
I agree with him that none had get that sentence because they stopped the gallows. But there is a lot up in there that got life sentence. So to me, it's the same thing, only in different form. Because how much life do you have? And that means if they got life sentence, they got to stay up and until they're dead.
Well, not necessarily. Not under the in the American style, in American law that would be true, but under the British law, they can reach a point that they can be paroled.
Well, that's true too, because I know too that had murdered somebody and they got out, but I don't think that that's right. Because to me, God give life, and everybody, loved one, is precious to them. And I feel that if you kill somebody for me, you should die too. I don't think that my one should be dead, and then you left free walking around the roads and stuff. That's how, maybe it's wrong, but that's how I think. Because
you would like to see him bring back the gallows?
Yes, 100%, yes. Because some of them kills people in cold blood for nothing, stupidness and stuff. I mean, it's different as somebody trying to kill you, and you, because like my mother said, my life is just as good as yours, but some of them murders are stupid murders, just cold-blooded murders. I'm not going to call no name, but I know one that got 2 life sentences plus a 30-year, and some of them things are terrible, and I know a lot about it because one of our family members was involved with it and had to run for their life because they knew plenty about it, and they were going to kill them. So I highly think that they should bring it back. It should be like in the States. If you murder, then they sentence you to life sentence, to death, you should die too. Nobody should kill anybody and take their lives and then you still on earth living. I 100% for that. And I tell you, if anybody kill either one of mine, I think that they better do let them out. Because if they do kill me and I can't kill them, I will try to get somebody to kill them. They better do.
Well, you don't want to go there, though.
Well,
you don't want to do that.
I tell you.
But as long as we're a British overseas territory, I don't think you're going to see, the gallows brought back. Because it was because of Britain that we stopped it in the first place.
Keeping them off government money or other money for what? What use there is if they take somebody innocent life? What are you keeping them out there for?
Well, that's a point of view. I mean, there are people that have that point of view.
And tell you the truth, how I feel about it, if it were me, and I had this bitch, I'm not going to do nothing like that, God forbid, but I would prefer to be dead than be out in the suffering, because I know there must be, I get bored that I can go out, and somebody got to open the door for you every time you want to do anything or tell you what you can do for that. No life to live in.
No, it's not.
Young people.
Well, listen, I have to take a break, okay? I'm getting signals from my control room that I need to break.
Okay.
But thank you so much for the call.
Okay, bye.
All right, we're going to be right back after this.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit CaymanAirways.com/cargo.
Freedom, Cayman Brac. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Cayman Art Week is back from Tuesday the 20th to Sunday the 25th of May. It's a fun-filled program of art events, pop-up exhibitions, open studios, and late opening hours at galleries and venues across all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit at your own pace or join one of our district bus tours with a new route added this year in Cayman Brac. All events are free and open to the public with art on sale for every budget. For all the latest, visit CaymanArtWeek.com.
Attention all residents of East End and surrounding areas. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman PACE Committee invites you to their Health Educational Evening on Wednesday, May 21st at the East End United Church starting at 6:30 p.m. Guest speakers are Dr. David and Dr. Mubin from Grand Harbor Medical, who will be discussing colon and prostate cancer diagnosis, treatment and prevention, and Dr. Sidney Ebanks, who will speak about hypertension and diabetes. Men, come on out and get your PSA test done for free. Remember, early detection saves lives. Refreshments will be served.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And we have a WhatsApp message here. This one is saying the caller referring to the prison conditions has called in on a couple of shows and raised this valid concern. Excuse me. This is a life, safety, and code issue, if you ask me. The responsibility falls on facilities managers and or planning department to ensure life safety elements are in place and up to code. If not them, then who? Just my thoughts. Have a blessed day. Thank you for that. Well, that is true. The people running a prison facility, it's up to them. I don't know if they actually have a facilities manager, but somebody has to be in charge of that building. The whole facility is there. And if it needs improvement, it's up to them to try and get the budget to do it. And criminal or no criminal, people can't be put in to an unsafe building. So maybe we'll hear more about that. Going back to what we started out the show with, the police news conference. One of the things that illustrates the police problem with having the staff that they need, that's illustrated best by a stat that came out of that news conference. Now, the service recruited 31 new police officers last year, but then they had 34 leave. Now, how do you deal with that? That's, a net gain of -3. So you're recruiting people, but more than you recruit are leaving. It's like a never-ending game of catch-up. To turn that around, the police commissioner says it's going to take more money. They need more money in their budget so that they can recruit, not only recruit, but keep good officers. Pay them a wage that is worth what it is that police do. And being a police is not an easy job. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon, Charlotte. Dominic Ebanks here. How you doing?
All right, and you?
Hey, I was always saying it better. I couldn't stand it. Nobody knocked me down driving fast today, and I haven't done the same thing anymore.
Okay.
I don't have making a complaint too much about Northwood Prison. But to top on those two issues, obviously we've been, the call about the road and all these things. I mean, we've seen many bypasses on the road where the old Hyatt had built one right there by the Deckers.
Right.
It's not being used. The staff is constantly crossing the road with trolleys going across instead of using it. When you go upstairs, it's full of plants and...
Oh, I didn't realize that was still functioning.
Yeah, I walk there when it's all. You need to be a tourist one day. I do it sometimes, get out and pretend I'm paying my taxes too,
Yeah.
But and see what's going on with those things. But a lot of them don't actually get used because some staff feel like they have to go up in that ramp or elevator, and it's easy just to push yourself across the road. And some people, they can just step out and you must jam brakes. But, there's a graveyard and a incinerator wait for those kind of actions, but unfortunately. Away from the road, which, like I said, the police presence, I think the caller was also mentioning, we see a lot of, and the police, like you mentioned, is asking for more financial resources. We just see where the police had to send some officers plus our helicopter probably to one of the other.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Okay, so
they sent a team of 8 police officers to Anguilla.
Plus the helicopter too.
I didn't see anything about a helicopter.
All right, so
there was maybe what you're talking about. There was one among that team is a drone operator.
Well, getting back to the point of the financial resources that it takes to send those people over there. Now, does Anguilla send us back that check for $1.5 million? Or
I think UK's funding it.
Oh, so they pay us then the money to UK?
Yeah, the cost, the UK is funding it from what I read.
Right, but then it still takes officers in from our police department to go and help these other ones.
Yes,
that crime.
Even in view of the shortage. Now the police commissioner did say that this was carefully balanced with what we needed here to stay safe and secure, and what he could spare to send to Anguilla, because apparently they've had a flare up in gang violence.
Right, but he don't have no spares to send over there, because if you ask him for $15 or whatever $1 million for different resources, you won't have anything to spare, right? So England should have really sent them directly from over there, in my opinion. But again, we need to...
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah, one way to look at it, but you can look at it two ways. Like they say, like Commissioner said, you never know when you might need to call on them to come help.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not...
That's how he looked at it. I think that's how he put it. If we needed them, they would help us.
Exactly, a small ocean here in the Caribbean. But, and moving away from that point, some of the other things we see happening, we got a new government. I'm quite sure they're going to, they've been obviously saying and campaigning that they were going to, make some changes. I assume they're working in the background, and hopefully they'll be, publicizing what it is that they're actioning. But we see a lot of action happening now, and we got to bear in mind that this isn't happening, a lot of it, from the new government. A lot of this is action that's continuing currently, at least at this point, from the previous administration, whether some of them are still elected, right? So, for any elected member right now to be able to go out and take praise for certain things being fixed or repaired right away, not saying that you didn't get behind the hammer and bang the table, so let's get on it. But a lot of these bills, a lot of these repairs, whatever you want to name them, have already been table passed, and it's just a matter of somebody getting it done. But, it just happened to be getting done right now. That's great, too. If I wanted to go there and, take a few praises for things that are being done, just because I, not there. But, a lot of things right now are not happening from the current government yet. It's happening from the previous.
So you're saying it was already in process when they came in?
That is correct. Right, because if something negative happens right now, I'm quite sure they're going to defer it back to the previous administration, right? So anything positive happen right now should also be done the same way too. Now, when they do come publicly and say, here is what we are doing, and from that point on, when we see the action now taking place, we can give credit where credit is due in most cases, I guess, right? But, at the same time, you still got to look at it and say, well, we need something done. So I'm not caring about whether the last administration or the current one doing it, but there are a lot of things that need to be done. And again, I keep saying immigration on the Cayman status, the permanent resident thing, is still our biggest issue. Next.
What do you want to see done on that?
Well, the same thing I said before election is that I would certainly like to see the Cayman status thing come to a complete stop. They just all come to a halt. The permanent resident status, everything comes to a halt except for those few sections where you're going through the regular old-fashioned way where you're marrying to it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to use that term, right? So we can say that can continue on. But the other way, you just land in here and you decide that you will have two countries. Is still going to be... Because all these people who got Cayman, not they all, but a lot of them who got Cayman status is still consider their origin of home superior to the Cayman Islands, all right? So we know that they still feel that we are inferior to those, parent companies or mother countries that they come from. And you can tell it in the talk because a lot of them, they don't blend into the culture. They come here to change us and have changed us, right? And we still can...
Or live just as they want to live and not be bothered with us.
Well, you have to live when you after money. I mean, our first tourism sector was our forefathers, Charlie. They got on a boat, as I keep saying, and they went and made money and sent it back home. And then eventually tourism picked up, and the tourists came and bring the money, and our men could come back home and stay here and do other jobs or whatever. And it's the same thing currently happening to these other countries. You know, they're going to look for money. Their heart and mind is still at their home place, right? And the loyalty and the allegiance isn't really to this place.
Yeah, well, wherever you're born, you know, you have a special place in your heart for that place.
That's right, and that's the difference between me, you, and them. This is where we born, if you want to use that term, right? And we can always see this place as a place we would rather die than live over there. But people like them do the same thing too. They see their origin place is a place where they would die, but they need to live here in order to keep that one alive, sending money. But again, going away from all that, Charlie, those are the two areas that need to slow down. Like I said, it has to start with the Cayman startups, because in the part of giving all these points about the land, I think that needs to be stripped completely away from it. Like, because right now, when you break it down, more foreigners.
Let me break in on you though.
Yes.
It's 2:00. You want to hang on and come back until we finish the news?
Let's run the news and I'll call back for the show. Thank
or
you.
You can hang on, one of the two. But it's 2:00, so let's see what's happening in the headlines.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Jevi Ebanks. Bulk waste collection is ongoing in Bordentown this week, with residents urged to place large items by the roadside for collection by the Department of Environmental Health. Collection in Bordentown concludes on Saturday, after which North Side and East End collections will begin on the 26th of May. Residents are reminded that once their area's collection period ends, any remaining bulk waste will be considered illegal dumping and subject to fines. In regional news, St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew will visit Cuba for 2 days from Thursday to strengthen diplomatic ties with a focus on healthcare, education, and regional security. A graduate of Cuba's medical program, Dr. Drew reaffirmed his commitment to deepening relations between the two nations. Meanwhile, the government has shipped essential supplies to nationals studying in Cuba, ensuring their welfare. Foreign Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas and Dr. Drew expressed gratitude for Cuba's continued support in education and development. In regional news, the Caribbean Court of Justice has dismissed Guyana's appeal regarding U.S. $300,000 debt owed to Anne Nareen by Hardat Singh. Singh had been ordered by high courts in Guyana to pay the sum after Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire ruled that while the document presented was not a promissory note, it constituted a contract by Nareen. Lower courts upheld the ruling despite Singh's failing to appear at trial or to file a defense. The CCJ criticized Singh's attempt to bypass the requirement of explaining his absence, calling it an abuse of power. The court dismissed his appeal and ordered him to cover legal costs. That's your latest headlines. I'm Jevi Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. A couple of WhatsApp messages here. This one about the conditions at the prison Definition of a prison: a building in which people are legally held as punishment for a crime they have committed or while awaiting trial. If we're going to make a prison a hotel, then why bother? Well, I don't think anybody is asking to make a prison into a hotel. They're just saying that while in prison, prisoners should be safe, not a building that's a death trap if there's a fire or an earthquake. Another WhatsApp message here. I agree with the caller about some of those drivers on the road. They arrive in the island and are looking for driver's licenses. They should not be able to drive on roads they don't know how to use. The roundabouts, they hold up cars that are exiting the roundabout. He is so true. I agree with him 100%. Yeah, the roundabouts, a lot of people still don't know how to use those properly. And it's like when you're entering one, not nobody, but a lot of people don't let you know what their intentions are. Are they going to go around? Are they going to exit? Whatever. And you just have to just wait to see what they're going to do, and then you can do your thing. And we do have a caller, so let's check in with the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon, Charlotte.
Oh, you're back.
Here again.
Okay, let's continue.
Yeah, we're in that train of thought. So as I was mentioning, where you get your status grant, you get your points based on land ownership in there, that should be, like I say, abolished, removed totally, right? Because the perception, and the whole idea is that he who owns that parcel of land has a right to the place, correct? So if you as a Caymanian, Charlo, do have a parcel of land or whatever in your name,
there's quite a few of us that don't.
And a lot of us probably do have no rights to Cayman other than your passport or your birth certificate. So all of a sudden is now, because the majority of the land seems to be owned by, say, foreigners or companies, those individuals have more rights than the Caymanians when you break it down,
Well, also just owning the land, I mean, that gives someone that has the money, but you might not particularly like to have that person in your community, more of a chance of getting, status by someone who is a really good person, but they don't have the money to buy the land.
Right, and the smartest person in this picture, and like it or not, is the DART Corporation. They realize that, hey, the landlord, in the Bible uses that word a lot, landlord. When you check your Bible today, you see how much time that word is used up in there. And you realize that the landlord has the power. Because right now, the whole Georgetown, that is a ghost town, is sitting right in Camana Bay. And all of those corporations that own these $1 million buildings sold them, as I keep saying, Charlo, and moved down to pay rent. So obviously he offered them as a landlord a better deal than they could do as themselves as owners. But the point is, there you go again, the very corporations have become tenants, right? And it goes to show the power of a landlord. So people that own land, whether these are these individuals, when they look and they realize that majority of these Caymanians don't own no land, lucky they own a car, majority, right? I have more power in their country than they do because I have a right to be here because I own parcels, so-and-so. That's the perception it gives, right?
Well, I think that a big argument could be made against that also. I mean,
yeah, it could be made, but I'm just giving them one
point. That's their mentality. That's the thought.
Yes, but the Caymanians start to think that way too, in a way, because all of a sudden now you don't have a house and here is this guy owning one when you don't have no place to put your foot. When he's telling you with a 9mm, step out of my yard, and you got to go out on a road that's public, and you really don't own a home other than your cousin, your brother, your mother that you can step into, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a big disadvantage. And the person really didn't really want a home. I mean, they want a home. They wanted a home, your job, your life, so they got whole entire Cayman status and took all your opportunity away. That's really what's happening, So when you break it down, that we are the minority in this picture, that means that whoever now is the majority, and there's one or two nationalities out there that either equal or override the Caymanian. And Caymanians don't want to come to that term, but you are now, whatever nationality that is, Charlo, that you discover today after we get off the phone.
Mm-hmm.
If it's A, then they are the new Caymanians, and we, me and you, now in the minority, are really not the majority no more. Because if you went democratically, they could, vote us out of our position. A lot of things going on, Charlo, that it need to come to a quick stop. They need to give the Caymanian woman and man, the young people, come up to have an opportunity to have a child and multiply the normal way that we were supposed to, not this artificial populating. And the women nowadays don't have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 children no more. They're having 2 and 3. It's that much, It does cause a problem, but we don't need to go making Caymanians. If you come here on a work permit and I give you a permit for 10 years, after that, you leave and you go somewhere else. And if you got to come back again, then you so do it. But that opportunity of you ever becoming a Caymanian without getting married or being a child of one of them is almost impossible.
But don't you
that
think...
might sound a bit radical, but that is the viewpoint that has to be taken. You can't be soft and things. That like being a manager, a supervisor, and then the employee. Each one has a different control, right? The employee might misbehave and the supervisor might caution you, but a manager coming behind with a hammer, right? So, right. So it's these layers, and at the end of the day, that upper layer that should be protecting the whole thing, which is, again, your government needs to put these things in place. Forget about the past administration. The past administrations, there were individuals and people in there who had a different viewpoint about how things work. But again, that is our biggest problem, is the multiplying of Caymanians on that field like we're doing.
Don't you think the UK, though, London, is going to have a problem with saying, no, you're not going to grant any kind of residency?
Then we could quickly do like what Donald Trump asked. We could ask the United States then to take over from England and replace that. Their problem time is always a weird about, if you want to jump away. I am grateful that we're still under the UK. I mean, if we had followed other countries down the path of independence, and if we do go that way, we already see where we're going down with them, over the waterfall, right? So we're in a good position. We don't want to argue too much with them, but they're doing the same thing now. They're tightening their belt and say, hey, we can't let in all these people anymore, but they still have to play the role of being this overlord, of this empire of all these different colonial places. So you got to let them in. You can't make them feel that all of a sudden now they're not part of you, because that's the whole idea of the UK. You're all one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but we are not the UK. We're under their umbrella, but we got to let them know we're not going to let you or those other ones migrate onto this little rock. They can migrate on your little rock over there. And now that they're feeling that effect, you can see them pushing back right now. If you read the news and see what they're doing, they're trying to...
But I think what they have said in the past, if my memory serves me correctly, is that if you let a person live in your country, in your territory, however you want to phrase it, for 10 years, then you should also give them the opportunity of residing there permanently.
So why do we need them for 10 years? They should have left after 10 months. That's what I'm saying. They should have been here to train a Caymanian, because most of the major positions aren't held by Caymanians.
Well, that was the original idea.
Right, but now we needed the man. I got a boat and I need 5 workers because I can't depend on Charles tomorrow morning, right? Now I got 5 permit holders and you're not going to a job. These are the things that are happening, Me and you should be leaving the radio in a minute and going doing another job, making pretty much money we just made on the radio. Because the demand is so heavy, but we watered our Caymanian now and not we devaluing ourselves. We printed too much of us. That's what I'm saying, right? So I'm not going to hate about nobody. I travel out of the place. I love people from other places, but I just saying, they're going to understand that, if you destroy what we have simply by watering it down the way we're going, at the end of the day, I know good of me and you going out there and, trying to multiply. And I don't know what to tell.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I've heard coming from the new government is getting back to the idea of the Caymanian protection law that was originally there to guard against the kind of things that you're talking about. And the original, like we mentioned before, was that people came to Cayman and under the idea that they would be training a Caymanian to eventually move into that post that they are there for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think the whole economy in Cayman just exploded, and we couldn't keep up. I mean, all of a sudden you had more jobs than you had people.
Yeah, but I don't know excuse for you to, not shut the door to making new Caymanians. That's great that we got a demand to come here, But after 5 years, you're gone because in that line...
You say roll people over after 5 years.
Yeah, I don't care if he's your best worker, because guess what? There are 5 million others out there in the foreign line that is just good or better than him or her.
Yeah, a lot of people in the world.
All right, so as soon as that 4 years come in, you should have already been looking for your new engineer locally or whatever, but that person's not getting no opportunity to hit no 10 years. That chance of you ever becoming a status holder or Caymanian without marrying, or being a child of one of them, is almost impossible. You imagine when the majority of the status holders, well, they're already starting multiplying for the last generation now, so that generation is going to start voting, and our whole island is already changed. It's almost like you can't stop it now, but we can certainly speed it up by keeping it going the way it's going. And, Charlie, it has to come to a stop. You might mean you'll be dead and gone before we see any change of it, but, it has to come to a slowdown.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we're facing, too, and we hear about this, and it is real, that Caymanians go away, get the education, they pay their dues, come back home looking for a job, and they can't get a job. It's, well, you don't have the experience. We don't have a entry-level position available right now, and you don't have the experience. And so they're in limbo looking for a job. I mean, I just learned of a young person that has come back to Cayman after studying in the UK, and they've been home for a little while now, and, luckily their father could employ them. Mm-hmm. But they can't get a job in the area that they studied in.
Right, and to cut you there, Charlie, I mean, I found that problem from day one. From time me and you probably growing up, it was similar things, but we had to change our careers, find something else either just as good or better, or maybe it wasn't as good, but it was a job. We had to find something to do, and I know that's the position they're probably in too, doing something right now they didn't educate themselves to do. But again, that goes back to the fact that if you look at probably what, certainly in the medical field, there are probably a lot of foreign doctors here that have opened up their practice, and when a Caymanian come there, you got so much competition against you now, because it's great having all these doctors and dentists, but they're not giving us no deal. Every time I go to the dentist, my insurance, one lick of my insurance did. Go to the doctor, well, I mean, not too bad, but I guess it's a money-making field for all these sections, and of course, we don't have a lot of Caymanians in that area, but the last time I met Georgetown Hospital, there were a lot of young doctors and nurses and other people up there, and I was so proud to see that.
Yeah.
And it was great, not just going there to see them, but to hear that Caymanian accent. I don't know whether their mother or dad was not fully Caymanian, but they had that Caymanian culture and that sound. That's what, and I trusted them just as I trusted the foreign accent as well to, look over me medically. But again, Jalo, and I can hold up, and other people may want to talk, and you might have some other things to say. I got to get my lunch too, otherwise I'll...
Well, enjoy your lunch.
Yes, and I thank you for the time on the radio, and hopefully we'll get to catch up again.
All right, man. Have a good afternoon. Thanks for the call. Yeah, those are some of the things facing us. And we got to take the bull by the horns and do something about it. We were talking about driving, yeah. There's a lot of bad drivers out there. You talk about defensive driving. Yeah, you got to watch out for the other guy, because you never know what the other guy's going to do. I see the police commissioner in that same press conference that we've been talking about. He was talking about driving under the influence. And, they lowered the limit as a way of dealing with that. That was, a couple of years ago. And apparently it hasn't really made any difference. People are still driving drunk. And he is going to be advocating that driving under the influence now be made a criminal offense. There won't be a traffic offense anymore. It'll be a criminal offense to get behind the wheel of a car if you are over the limit. When you think about it, it kind of makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, actually. Because if you're drunk and you get behind a car and then you damage property, or even worse, kill someone, you can't get any worse than that. But he wants to make it that just operating a vehicle under the influence is a criminal offense. And one of the problems there is when people are drunk, they still think they are capable of getting in that car and driving the way that they would normally do it. I don't know how many times, over the years, I've tried or have seen people trying to tell someone, you better let me drive you home. And they're, oh, no, I'm okay. I can drive, man. I can drive. I got it. It's really hard to convince someone who is drunk that they shouldn't be driving. They think that they can handle it, but the fact is you can't. So that is one of the things that the police commissioner says that he's going to be lobbying the government, the cabinet, to bring a law to make drunk driving a criminal offense. Now that's going to change things a lot, because it's no longer just losing your license for a certain period of time. You will now have a criminal record if you are caught driving under the influence. And that means things like, it's actually a life-changing charge, because you're not going to be able to go overseas because you got a criminal record. You go to get a job. Have you ever been convicted of a criminal offense? Yes. You have to check if you're going to tell the truth. So one of the reasons that this is important to him, it seems, that a lot of the fatalities, if not most of the fatalities in accidents, usually involve drunk driving. It's 20 minutes after 2. I have to take a break. I'll be right back.
Shipping to the Cayman Islands is fast, reliable, and seamless thanks to Cayman Airways Cargo. Need it faster than ocean freight? Cayman Airways Cargo offers multiple cargo flights to Grand Cayman from Miami weekly, so your packages, whether big, small, or in between, will arrive in no time. You can even use a Cayman Airways Cargo US address for your online shopping. Cayman Airways Cargo is also the only carrier providing air freight services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Contact us today and see why Cayman Airways Cargo was voted as Cayman's best cargo and logistics company in the Best of Cayman Awards. For details, visit caymanairways.com/cargo.
Hungry? Need Subway any time of the day?
Yeah.
We've got you covered. Subway at Anderson Square, Centennial Towers, and Countryside Shopping Village is open 24/7, serving up fresh, delicious subs anytime you need them. And for your weekend cravings, West Shore Center is also open 24 hours on Friday nights and until 1 a.m. on Saturdays, because it's never too late for a great meal. Skip the line and order ahead with the Subway Cayman Islands app, or get your favorites delivered straight to your door with bento and Let's Eat. Fresh, fast, and always here when you need us. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Looking to transform your space? From custom homes to commercial spaces, we bring your vision to life with precision, quality, and elegance. At Mike's Builders, we make it happen.
Mike's Builders turned my dream home into a reality. Their team is professional, efficient, and truly the best in the business. Good communication? Check. Cleanliness? Check. Professionalism? On point. You have to try Mike's Builders for yourself.
Call us today at 923-0706. That's 923-0706. Mike's Builders. Let's build a beautiful world together.
Stay cyber secure with Cayman National. Here are a few tips that will benefit you. Ensure to log out completely when you finish any online banking activities. Be aware of phishing attempts and only click links from trusted sources that are sent from your device through emails and messages. Remember, Cayman National will never ask you for your credentials. If you suspect a fraud attempt or that your account has been compromised, please immediately contact our customer support team at 949-8300.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back to Talk Today. Well, we're coming down to about the last 5 minutes in the show. If you want to get in a call, you better do it now. We're talking about crime statistics earlier. One of the ones that I mentioned was sex crimes. The Cayman Islands saw a 21% rise in sexual offenses that were actually reported last year compared to 2023. And this was mostly attributed to an increase in rape and indecent exposure incidents. The police have said that a third of the sex crimes investigated last year were solved, leading to a caution or charge, and 40% remain open, still under investigation, and 27% have been closed with no charges brought. And as usual in a lot of these cases, these offenses are by people known to the victim. Actually, the majority of those cases, the victim knows the attacker. But there's no real series of stranger attacks. Also on the rise is domestic violence, and child safeguarding referrals are also on the rise. 2024 saw 1,787 domestic violence referrals to the RCIPS Protective Services, and of those, 1,661 were designated as crimes, mostly involving violence against a person or public offenses. So that is another area of concern there. But I wonder if it's because more people are reporting that. You know, sometimes those domestic violence people just, and even when it comes to child care and child protection, those things went unreported. I wonder if it's because people are more likely to report these incidents now than they were in the past. There's a child safety safeguarding is handled by the multi-agency safeguarding hub known as MASH. And they saw an increase of 404 cases, and that's 22% more than they did in 2023. And of the 2,203 referrals, 165 resulted in criminal investigations by the Protective Services. And another 40 were investigated by the police itself. And the police have said in the report that a contributing factor to the rise in referrals is believed to be linked to more public awareness. So there you go. People are not hiding this anymore. when these kind of incidents happen, they're more likely to report it. And that is good, because then that's the only way it's going to be stopped. I know we've heard many stories in the past how people just suffered. Women have suffered in relationships, ashamed to admit this was happening in their life. And people knew about it, but no one wanted to get involved with it. And it was just swept under the rug, more or less. But I guess enough is enough, as people would say. And these things are being brought to light, being brought to the police, and in some cases being dealt with as a criminal act. Well, we're down to the end of the line here to talk today. I want to thank all the callers for coming online here and giving us their thoughts on what's happening in our community. Thank you for joining in by listening. Have a good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Charles Glidden. Take care.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is also brought to you by Mike's Builders. Call 923-0706. Mike Builders. They make it happen.
Brother, there's far too many of you die.